Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live Thursday, April 7th for one of the best shows of the year. Dan and I live here today. This is the Up the Archer Varsity Special Edition. Dan, we are joined by the main man, Archie the Dragon, here to support us today.
The main star of the day. What more could we want today? We've got a packed show from the biggest and best sports day of the year for our university. Cannot wait.
Don't worry, Archie's going to feature plenty in our show. We've got plenty of guests to join us here today. Archie, one of them, but plenty of guests from our teams. Plenty to show you about the victories, results, and even the losses on the day. We'll go through all of it here on Cardiff Met Sport TV. Thank you for joining us. I'm Atticus Peed. Dan Rydick joining me today. And first, let's take a look. What do we have coming up, Dan?
Well, it's a packed show. It was a packed day yesterday. We're so busy. Coming up in the show, the men's, women's running game in the basketball alongside the high-flying wheelchair team. We've got Keith Claiborne and Rebecca Ganley joining us to talk all things court. We're watching the Met men's football team. They took on Bath with a weakened squad yesterday. And we're going to check out all the action and highlights from that from Blake and Ben. On the field, the hockey field, we saw the men's and the women's take action over the lunchtime period, and on the court again, the netball with the women's for that. And finally, it was a great day for both rugby teams with entertaining games all around, so we've got plenty to look forward to.
First of all, though, let's take a look at the basketball action of the day. 3 games yesterday. Like you said, Dan, wheelchair, women's, followed by men's last. Let's take a look and see our reporter Reese Jones covered those games for us. What happened? Take a look.
A massive day of basketball action at Varsity, which had it all. Atmosphere, crazy shots, and some victories. The Archers got off to the best possible start with the wheelchair team trouncing Bath University in what ended up being a convincing victory. Leading the scoring was all-star Jade Atkin, who scored 4 times as many points as Bath's entire team. But it was a real team effort with a great atmosphere. Bath was truly outmatched and only scored 2 points in the first half, and a special shout out to Ben Johnson-Rolfe as well, who was heavily involved in assists the entire game. The wheelchair team did their job, picking up 5 points for the varsity table, winning 74-10. The women's team kept that momentum swinging their way, with Amber Dean putting on a show for everybody in attendance. Loads of razzle-dazzle was on display in the Founders Hall at Bath University. However, everyone was contributing to the scoring, with Angelina Marazzi draining 6 three-pointers in the match. It was a true domination from the entire squad, with Cardiff Met coming away with a massive victory. With this being some of the players' first varsity, the Archers enjoyed playing at such an exciting event.
Well, it's a dominant victory, 103-47. I don't know how many points and assists you had. We think it's in the 20s for both. Incredible performance, though. What are your thoughts on the game today?
Oh, man, just great atmosphere. You know, we've heard a lot about Varsity and all the great environments that they bring every year. So glad to have it back. And then it was just fun always, you know, out here in the crowd.
Now, this is your first varsity ever, not just here, but in UK, all of this. I'm sure this is the first year you've heard of it. So what are your first thoughts on varsity after today?
I think it's a great event, you know, to get all the teams involved across the campus. But yeah, it's cool to see, you know, throughout the year, everyone plays on Wednesday, so we kind of can't watch everybody. So this has a great event so we can see everybody on one day.
In the final bit of action for varsity basketball, the men's teams took the floor. The game started off extremely close, with Bath maintaining a slim lead and the Archers draining loads of threes to try and stay in the game. Keith Claiborne was a focal point on offense in the first half, drawing loads of stick from the heckling home fans.
We're here at the half. Cardiff Met down 29-36 against Bath University here in Bath. In the second half, the Archers need to step it up, collect a few more rebounds. They're losing the rebounding battle. Let's see what they can do as we head into the second half.
In the second half, the Archers couldn't claw their way back, with some players having played their last ever game in an Archer jersey.
So we're here post-game with captain today, Liam Norris. Liam, this is your last varsity performance. Obviously a tough loss here on the road to Bath today. Reactions to this game, first and foremost?
I mean, for the spectators, it was a great game to watch. You know, we unfortunately didn't play our best basketball like we have done during the season. Shout out to Bath fans and Cardiff Met fans. You know, they made it a great atmosphere for my last one. Yeah, we just didn't lock in first half. And I think let the crowd get to us a little bit at certain points.
Interesting to say that, because in the first half, I know for you specifically, you hit a lot of threes and a lot of shots were going in, lots of comebacks I think were starting to happen. But in the second half, it just kind of fell apart. Do you think it was all just the crowd and letting that get in your head, or what specifically happened throughout the whole team?
I think especially going from Monday's practice, one thing we said we had to do today was react in the positive way and react in the right way. We knew with the crowd as big as it was that this is going to be a game of runs. Bath went on their runs, made their baskets, took their runs. We just didn't quite react in the best way, and we didn't also get our runs. We had a couple of runs, but they were the better team today. It's tough.
Here in the Bath Basketball Arena, there were 3 matches played between the wheelchair, the men's, and the women's teams of Cardiff Met and Bath for varsity. Cardiff Met walked away with 2 of the 3 victories, with the wheelchair picking up a 74-10 victory, with Jade Atkin dropping 40-plus points in that one. The women's team performing just as well, winning 103-47. Amber Dean having an absolute all-star appearance there, but really that was an absolute team win. And then the men's team, a really close game, unfortunately, finished 84-68 and a loss. Really tough finish on that one, but Cardiff Met will take 2 out of 3 victories, and massive day of basketball here up the Archers. A massive day of basketball action at Varsity.
Welcome back here into the studio, Atticus Pede, and we are now joined by Keith Claiborne. Big round of applause for Keith, everybody. Keith, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here today. I know yesterday was probably your last game in an Archer's uniform, correct?
Yes. Thanks you guys for having me today too as well.
Of course. I know it's obviously a rainy day, so fun getting here, I'm sure. But last night, not a great result, of course. 84-68 loss to Bath in that final varsity game for you. Opening reactions to that game, how did that feel for you, your last ever Archer game?
It felt great. I mean, playing in that atmosphere felt like a high school game for me back in the States. So it was just fun to see everybody there. Obviously, it was their home court. It would have been nice to have a win on their home court, but just the environment that I was in, I just wanted to enjoy that last part of playing in an Archer's uniform.
Yeah. Now, I know we just saw the highlight of Mark's massive three-pointer from half court. There were plenty of highlights there on the day for Cardiff Met and for your team. Obviously, not the victory to go with it, but plenty of good things that happened. It did seem like everybody on the team enjoyed it, I think. How do you think the team felt throughout the game? Did the crowd affect the game for them specifically, either with how they saw the game emotionally or made them have more fun? What did you think the rest of your teammates did?
I think the crowd did play a part. I feel like most of our Bucks games this year, we haven't had a crowd of that atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it did kind of play a part. But I felt like in spurts that it helped us, and then they kind of had more people there, so it kind of helped them too. But for the most part, I mean, I felt like everyone enjoyed it. Some of them that was their last game as well. That have played here in Archer's uniform, so everyone just wanted to go out, and we lived with the result that ended.
Fair enough. Now, I don't mean to go back to just negative things here, of course, but I'm curious on your thoughts on this, because in the fourth quarter, you were taking as many at the shots as you could. Obviously, the shots were funneling through you. The same thing happened with the NBL side. The relegation to Oxford, last plays of the game, they were looking to you the whole time. Throughout the entire year, you've been a leader on the court in your play. How do you think that sits for you as you go back home to the United States after this? What are your takeaways from the Archer program, having been such a big part of it for this past year?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to James. He actually helped me get over here, so and it was fun playing with them. But I just kind of just played my role and just kind of did usually what I've always done playing basketball. Just score the basketball, as you guys can see.
Definitely so.
But I mean, like I said, it was fun. In NBL and Bucks, unfortunately, both in NBL we got regulated, but it is what it is. And then Bucks yesterday just kind of didn't go our way. But I mean, I've always felt like I could score the basketball, so that's just what I came here to do.
Yeah. Keith,
I have to ask. You mentioned obviously it was your last game. And the emotion. What were the emotions like? How did it feel when that final buzzer went? What went through your head?
It felt like here we go again, because I actually didn't think that I was going to be playing basketball again after college. And then I had this opportunity, so it's just like the emotions were kind of not. It was exciting, but then like after it happened, I'm just like, well, now what do I do? Like basketball, I'm not going to be playing basketball on a competitive level anymore. But I always knew that this day was going to come. So I'm just enjoying it, and I feel like the career that I've had with basketball has been great, and I wouldn't trade with anybody else's.
You mentioned you're not going to be playing basketball competitively or professionally going forward. What is the plan going forward for you? Are you just going to head home and decide from there?
I am going to be going home, and I want to get a job in like the sports operations. So I want to probably get it into like the NBA. So I've been applying for jobs like that and just seeing what happens with me. And then I'll also be going home, and I coach during the summertime. So I have that, and I will be doing like training sessions with ages 8 to 17. So I'll be doing that when I go home too.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Keith, for joining us. We're really, really glad that you got a good send-off at Varsity yesterday. We've also been joined today by Rebecca Ganley, who has been playing wheelchair basketball this season for Archers. And hopefully we're going to get into the studio now. So, Rebecca, come join us.
Big round of applause, everybody, for Rebecca Ganley. Keith, thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much, Keith.
All right, Rebecca, welcome in. We're excited to have you here. You guys were part of the biggest win yesterday for all the Archers teams, 74-10 in the wheelchair game over Bath. I see you laughing already. Opening thoughts on that game. How was that experience for you guys?
It was very different. We knew going into it that we'd have a big win, but we found that a lot of the players, they weren't formed already. Bath have never had a good wheelchair team, and so for us, they weren't very experienced. We thought, oh, we'll take use of that. We didn't give them an easy time, but we needed the double points. We went a bit over, but yeah, it was a good game. Everyone had a good game, and people got some shots up that they might not have gone in Bucks, so it's a good opportunity for everybody.
Yeah. Now, I know you're the Bucks captain, of course, and you've been a big part of the coaching for the squad, not only here, but also in the Women's Premier League side on the weekends as well. What were you most proud of yesterday after that big result?
The teamwork everyone showed. I think we've got a lot of experienced players within the team, but also we've got a lot of new faces. And those freshers that have come straight in, they've really developed quickly, and the players that have got the experience have been given their knowledge to them. And you know, we've got great coaches, but it's really been the people who have been through it that can answer the questions and show them what they're doing that have been really valuable.
Rebecca, it's been a really busy season for you guys, obviously with across all the wheelchair basketball teams, and you must be really proud of how it's gone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, God, Bucks, we didn't expect to do well as we did in Bucks to an extent. We had a great time at the final. We were very fortunate to go there. We were the only Bucks team, I think, to go to the finals, and so that was really special, the fact that it was a wheelchair team as well. We had a great experience. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the win, but the aim is to go back next year and bring home the gold and fight back against Nottingham again. But it's been a great season for everybody in both teams.
And personally for you, where do you feel your game has been good this season?
I think for me, I've developed a lot through Bucks, being captain. I've not had sort of a leadership role in that sense before, and so for me, I've found this really interesting, and I've kind of thrived off it in a sense. And I think getting the minutes in a higher game within the Premier League has been really good for me. Getting the experience against some of the GB players has been fantastic.
Now, Keith mentioned this. He alluded to this just a moment ago as well. The Archers program is full of people and I think cultural and relationships that just make it such a great experience there. How do you think the Archers program is benefiting you, not just on the court, but off of it? Is this really an impactful experience for you in your life?
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, I've not just been playing and I want to get involved in the coaching, but I do a lot of table officiating and I've met a lot of people. I've grown in confidence and I've had the opportunities from being here, and I've only been here since September, but for me, it's done so much for me, and I'd recommend it to everybody.
Awesome.
Well, Rebecca, thank you very much for coming and joining us, and to yourself, Keith. Congratulations on yesterday. We're really glad that all the basketball teams really showed up and put good performances in to end the season. We're going to move away from the court now and head over to the rugby field. The men's and women's were in action yesterday, and the women's really did put on quite the show.
Then moves to play hooker. More than capable of being.
Come on, boys!
Promising start for the Archers girls. Can they get a second score here within 10 minutes? And they're going out to the wing. Steps back in. Is she over the line? She is! Second score for the Cardiff Met girls. The Cardiff Met. And a break. She's still going! Amy Rothrow, she's finally been taken down. What a run from number 13. And it's going out to the wing again. We're going to see another score on our wing here. We are! That's the third Cardiff Met try that we've had in the first 20 minutes of this game. Secure the ball. Sarah Singleton feeds the ball, step back inside by the scrum half. Going through the forwards now, can they get over that line? And they're over for a fifth try for Cardiff Met in this first half. They just can't stop them scoring.
No, I just think that with the mixture of ones and twos, maybe there's a bit of a miscommunication between some of the players. Oh, what a hit that was.
And it's been turned over by the Archers. And that's their 6th try. Just like that. Yeah, it'll be a good one to get involved in. I assume that Catherine Richards won't be able to get involved in the 7s potentially for Cardiff Met. As we just see another score. Didn't get that, but it is an emphatic win for the Archers girls. What a brilliant way to finish our rugby at Varsity 2022.
Well, we're now joined in the studio by Freddie Caspi-Pearson and Laura Cardiff Satterley. Guys, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in. It's really great. Guys, what a win yesterday. That was dominant. Freddie, that was an incredible game, wasn't it?
It was an incredible game. It's one of the best games we've played all season, I think.
Yeah, and 53 points up. The attacking play was just incredible, wasn't it?
It was. We have had a few new combinations in the team yesterday, purely because it was seniors playing. So we had Leah and Amy in the centres, which was great. And obviously the twins in front row with me. Great. we work well together, so it's good.
And Laura Cardiff. We'll go Cardiff. The tries you guys racked up, some of the attacking play was just insane.
It was insane to watch. I had so much fun watching it. Was gutted to miss out because of injury, but it was so good to watch, and I was just so happy to see the girls. I feel like everything really gelled together. And yeah, it was just so class to watch.
And it must be great for you guys seeing all that work you've put in practice and in training just really coming off. And you did it on the biggest stage. You did it at Varsity. You got that win over Bath. It must have felt really good.
Yeah, it did feel amazing.
It felt so good.
Considering we've lost most of our games this season, all the ones anyway, it felt good to come away with a big win like we did. The last few weeks we've been doing 7s training, and I think that actually helped us quite a bit in 15s with our speed and our attacking play.
I think we've got more creative with it because we've been doing the 7s training.
Does that help with the fitness as well, would you say?
100%.
Yeah, you get a lot more running involved.
Yeah.
It was good to see a great crowd there down there as well.
Yes.
And there was plenty of people watching, which was nice to see.
It was nice to hear the supporters on the sideline singing the chants that the boys normally get to hear that we don't hear very often. So it was
Definitely.
I think it was good, the scheduling that we were after the men, so the crowd stuck around for that, and it just made for a really good environment for you guys to play with.
Definitely.
We did hear one chant. I believe the words are, if you can't score, go to Bath, something like that. What are the words of that chant? Do you guys know?
If you can't score, tries, go to Bath.
Oh, wow, that's brutal.
It is a little bit savage, but when you're 53 up, nil up,
You guys
You
did
take no
out those
prisoners,
sort
you
of
got to pull
chants,
no punches, yeah.
Their supporters were saying rude things to us, so we had to bring it
I
back.
think they've, in all fairness, they've beaten our 2s in the league twice this year, so we really felt we had something to prove this year, so I think that's why
made them pay the
it got a
price.
little bit feisty and got a bit excited.
Well, you speak about fantasy, you come out black and blue here, you've got bruises and stuff. Really feisty game as well.
It was quite feisty, yeah. The scrums especially, they did try and give us a fair fight, but we did dominate them quite a bit. But no, tackling wise, they have some good hits, some big hits, but we just were a bit bigger.
I think all credit to Bath, they are a great team, but because we were able to combine different players and have fun with it, like we just came out on top.
Now, you guys mentioned, the combinations you guys had, of course, just how good of a game this was for you. But it's not like there weren't challenges. I mean, the weather was that was really challenging. Lots of rain.
Yeah.
How did you guys deal with that?
Well, we're used to playing in the rain. We live in Cardiff.
That's true. Yeah, no problem there.
But no, it was this change of the sun and then all of a sudden wind and rain. But it was just, you just got to go with it. Go with the flow. If you drop a ball, fix it. That's what we learned.
It's a good attitude.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And moving on from your guys' win, this weekend Wales are back in action again.
Yeah.
And we already 2 great wins against Scotland and Ireland, and then England this weekend. How do you expect that to go?
Well, she's English and I'm Welsh, so we have different views on it. But I think it'll be really good. I'm under no illusions that England have been pro for as long as they have. So as much as I want it to go well, I think it will be more of a learning experience because Wales have only been pro for about 2 months now. So we've been able to catch up to teams like Scotland and Ireland and that sort of thing. But I think it'll be another couple of years before we reach England's standard and are able to put 53-0 on them.
But I do think Wales will give England a fair fight, especially compared to the last few years. But I want to say overall England are a better team. But
Still, those are very diplomatic answers from the both of you, honestly.
Do you get much chirping in training as the English-Welsh sort of rivalry
Yeah,
there?
Only on England-Wales game day.
Yeah. I did actually get her in a Welsh shirt on the weekend before when you weren't
And I
playing.
got you in an English shirt, so it's fine.
We can talk about
Nice.
Thank you very, very much for joining us, and we're really glad. A superb victory, like we said, and you really, really did put on a show. Speaking of feistiness, the men were also in action yesterday, and their game really, really did get quite feisty.
We've got pushing each other again here now. They are over, and we have another scuffle down by the try line. More scuffles coming, it seems every single time it'll happen now. As things start to boil over. Quite a serious bleed here. Will Perry, who's going to go all the way. What a try by Will Perry from his own half! And he's over, and he's actually pulled his hamstring over the line there. The Med team are all jumping in, Perry's not getting up. And we have another scuffle in behind the try line.
Well, we're now joined by one half of our Buck Super Rugby commentator appearing, and our rugby correspondent, Griff McKee. Thank you very much for joining, Griff. It's great to have you down. You were down in Bath yesterday, and what a game we were treated to.
Oh, unbelievable. It was seriously feisty. We've just seen there on the VT, aggression, rivalry as well in Varsity, some heated, exchanges between some players. It didn't quite boil over, I wouldn't say. We didn't see many punches actually go in, I don't think, from our angle anyway. But a brilliant game. Yeah, unfortunate for Cardiff Met not to come off with a victory. But I think what Varsity is more about is giving the third years their final swan song, It's the last time they'll get to put on that jersey. We spoke earlier with the basketball team and the women's rugby. It's about having that opportunity to enjoy.
You did mention, sorry Dan, I wanted to ask about this. We just saw on the clip, did Will Perry hurt himself on that try?
Yeah, so Will Perry's he's made an absolutely unbelievable run,
no.
And then he's pulled up just at the end. As he was coming off, we heard him, I've pulled my hamstring.
Oh, no.
I didn't see it. Did he go down? You were there. Damn.
Yeah, no, he made that break and he cleared half the field, and I was commenting. I was like, he's over the line. I think he's pulled his hamstring as well as he's gone over. He's straight down.
Yeah, because it didn't look like he pulled it before he landed.
Yeah,
It was a strange one, but what a way to go out. What we thought
yeah.
at the time was going to be maybe the match winner for Met didn't quite turn out to be. But what a moment for him.
Yeah, and there was a good atmosphere down there. It is Varsity and it is competitive, but the players were really on form. They were chirpsing, they were chops, and they were enjoying it. And I think you did catch up very briefly with Charles Rylance down on the touchline.
Yeah, well, it's a different environment, to be fair, being at Varsity. We were pitch side, so we could do sort of in-game interviews, and we caught up with Charles Rylance during the match. It was a strange experience, but I really enjoyed it.
I think we do have footage of that quick interview you caught with him. We'll take a look at that.
I believe Charles Rylance is going to come over for a quick interview.
Charles, the plan is score as many points as we can to avoid What's the plan?
There you go, exclusive. That was Charles Rylance live on the pitch. Oh, cool. Oh, and it's a poor pass out there. Warboys cuts the line. Warboys, is he through? He's going long. George Warboys, across he goes. And it will be a Bath win at Varsity this year.
And Griff, Charles Rylance did say that when George Warboys comes on, we'll be in for a tough game. And he came on and scored the winning
He scored
try.
the winner. Unbelievable run. We've said it before this season as well, Warboys is the man to look out for. And he came on, he changed the game. Him and Wooten as well at the 9, both of them scoring exceptional tries. Great players. And I think second years as well, so Bath next year in Buck Super Rugby, they will be a better side potentially than what they were this year, finishing 9th. Fingers crossed for them, but for Met, obviously, hoping to bounce back. But Met are losing quite a few of their big players this year, which is a big shame for the club.
Yeah, and there are a few leavers, but as we've already talked about, it was a nice atmosphere and a good way to go out. And I don't think they're too fussed about the loss overall.
No, I don't think they were too fussed about it. We got to see Heath McVie out on the wing in the centre. Bailey Telfer played 13 for a few moments, so it was one of them games where it was kind of a bit, we'll give this a go, we'll put you here, we'll put you there. Just have a laugh, really, and enjoy it. And we got to see the likes of, Elliot Salt getting involved. He hasn't particularly broken into the Bucks Super Rugby team this season, but he really played well yesterday, and so it shows promising signs for him going forward in his career, potentially playing maybe Champ Rugby next year for a different club other than Met. But it's a shame to see some lads go, as it is every year.
No, definitely. Now, I know, obviously, going into the offseason, this isn't exactly the last game you'd want to have. Obviously, the Bucks Super Rugby semifinal loss to Exeter, and then now is this. But like you said, this is their C team, so it's not that big of a deal. Going into the summer for Cardiff Mets Bucks rugby team, how do you think you should feel ahead of the next season?
I think they should feel positive. They've got some brilliant talent coming through. I feel like a name, people are telling me I say this name too often on commentary, but it's hard not to say his name when he's probably the best player this season. Roma Zheng, he is going to be a star again next year for sure. And Steph Davis as well, playing full-back. He's a fresher, so he'll hope to come back from his injury. And then Brad Roderick Evans, he's staying for another year. That is certainly a positive. And there's a couple of partnerships across the field sticking together. Dill Bartlett and Barney Langton staying on for another year as well. So plenty of positives for the Archers and potentially another successful season next year. Who knows? It's hard to say now. The final hasn't even been yet. But it's going to be a painful week next week watching the Bucks Super Rugby final for the lads thinking we could have been there and potentially should have been there the way Cardiff Met clawed themselves back into that game last week. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, Griff, thank you very much for joining us. We'll give you a little round of applause. Well done on your work this season, yourself and
It's
Rob
a sad round of applause.
It is.
No enthusiasm.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
So obviously a tough game for the rugby. Let's go to another game, another area where some fights on the field, hitting each other with sticks, I think a little, Dan. We'll see. Check out the highlights from the hockey matches yesterday, men's and women's, coming up.
I'm Molly Heathcote for Cardiff Met Sport TV, and I'm here in Bath University where Cardiff Met ladies hockey team are playing Bath, and it is the last quarter. It is currently 1-1, very close, it is tied, the crowd's loving it. Fantastic game to watch. Here's some of the highlights.
Yes, man. Mate, perfect. Great ball play. Charlotte!
Well, obviously, Molly Heathcote joining us here, our hockey correspondent. Thank you, Molly. We're excited to have you in here today. Yeah. Now, Molly, obviously, big result yesterday for the women's squad, a 2-1 victory. I didn't see the second goal on camera, though.
No, so the second one we couldn't get it. I'm quite disappointed I didn't get it because it was an awesome goal. But yeah, it started tipping it down. And I mean, it was like another storm had just come. Ridiculous, freezing, the camera was getting soaked, rushing to put it away. The teams under the dugout like shivering, I'm putting coats on them. But yeah, the goal was amazing. Like she just came out of nowhere, got it in, and it was like, so it was 1-1 and it was really close, and like the crowd's loving it. I was like getting way too excited for someone who's supposed to be on the camera. And then, we were waiting for this second goal because we really wanted to win. And Anya, who scored, Anya Atkin, she's been having shots throughout the game, which some of them are on the video there. And then just to finally get it in the last couple of minutes was so nice and really good for the team. But it was a great day.
Near last minute goal, if I heard right, correct?
Yeah, 3 minutes, I think, to go.
Wow.
Yeah, so the pressure was on. It was hey, we've got 12 minutes. And then I think when it happened, everyone just jumped up. And I think even Bath were probably well, probably not, but...
And it was a great atmosphere down there yesterday. I saw a few of the rugby boys down supporting during the game. Everyone seemed to really be getting into it. Yeah,
which is so nice because we don't always get the same support as the rugby. So I play hockey myself, but when it's a big game like this as well, it was earlier on, lots of people got down there, and then it was the women's game, and then the men's followed, and it was a 2-2 draw for the men. But loads of people down there, and it's quite nice with the hockey because we're not like many of the other clubs. The men's and the women's, they're quite close, and we spend time together. Hence why I'm here and not another hockey player. Someone who played. They are actually all. I think they're all out together now, which is really nice and celebrating because they deserve to celebrate. The first team, they didn't do too well in their league this season, but then to get that win at Varsity at Bath, I think it's the first time they've ever beat Bath in a Varsity as well for women. Yeah, so
That's
it was
impressive.
really nice, and everyone was just so happy. So it was really good.
Now, I did hear, though, Jess Hurst. This might be her last game for Cardiff Met.
Yeah.
She's the most capped player for Cardiff Met, though. Is that right?
She is. Well, that's what we believe. And that's including, the years off of COVID. So, but it was her last game. I think she was a bit emotional, but she got through, watched the men's game, and it was really nice. I think she had a good game as well. I thought she played really well and strong because when it was 1-1 and, it was a bit oh my gosh, Bath are actually in this and they could win. She had to be there and motivate the team and be come on guys, let's do this, and then we can watch the men's game and celebrate. Especially with the weather being so cold and people get injuries. There was 2 Bath injuries in the first half, ball to the face, stick to the face. One of the girls who plays for Cardiff Met, she went flying, head first, just up and over. It was a really entertaining game, and anyone who was there, I'm sure they enjoyed it as well.
Well, fantastic. And you very quickly mentioned the men's, a 2-2 draw for them. Could they have won it?
It would have been nice. Yeah, it would have been nice if they won it. I think it was very even. Bath actually put out a really good team, and I think they played really well. But credit to our boys for going down and putting in a fight. And I think they were disappointed with no one wants to draw, you want to win.
Yeah.
But it's better than losing, I guess. And they still got 2 goals in there. They got Jack Rhodes and Marty Sears who scored, which is it's nice for them as well.
Well, thank you, Molly, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Well done on the hockey teams. Superb results there all round. Not losing, that was great. Well, we're going to move now from the field to the court, and we're going to take a look at what happened in the netball yesterday. Well, we've now been joined by Cardiff Met captain Gwenna Davis. Gwenna, thank you very much for joining us. Big round of applause for Gwenna. Difficult result yesterday, 38-58 loss, but still entertaining and great to play at Varsity.
Oh, definitely. And even though the score didn't quite go as planned, I think that the performance that the girls put in was phenomenal, and we couldn't have asked for anything better, really.
What was the difference in the game yesterday? Where did Bath get one over on you?
I think, if I'm honest, they have a Super League shooter who is really, really tall, and we did struggle to sort of keep the ball away from her a little bit, which did give Bath the advantage. But overall, I think that playing through court, we were pretty match to match, and I think it was, if the shooter maybe wasn't quite as tall, maybe we would have been more of a threat to them.
And the crowd down at Bath yesterday, it was quite a big one, and did that play into the game, do you think, at all?
Oh, definitely, and I think that the girls knew that it was always going to be a consideration, and I remember Kira telling us about it, and that's why it's always good to have home crowds when we play in Bucks games, because it just gets you used to it. And I know that we had Tia, a third year player, and she's the only one out of the team that have played in a varsity game, and she warned us about what the crowd was like. But I think that the girls fed off the noise and everything instead of letting it get to them, which was really, really good.
And talking a little bit about the wider season so far, and we're getting towards the end of it now, how do you feel like it's gone?
I think the season has gone really, really well. I mean, this is my last season for Met, and if I were to compare it to my first season and my first year, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I think that the performance that the girls have put in has been top-notch from the start, training sessions, everything, and we've had some new coaches coming in, and that's made a difference as well.
Speak about those new coaches. I know your new coaches have a lot of energy. We hear about them all the time. Talk to us about them. What are they like for you?
The coaches are fantastic at Met, and especially Kira coaching the Varsity. She'd introduced the new training block that has been taking place over the last month, really, and preparing us all ready for this game. And Kira's energy towards everything, whether it's analysing stats, organising friendlies, everything that she's done has contributed towards how well the girls played yesterday, and I couldn't thank her enough.
Now, you just mentioned the new training block. What does that entail? What does that mean when you say a new training block for a new coach like this?
So when we finished Bucks, we sort of had a week off, and then Kira made it. We had to retrial then to come back to the Varsity team, because as we finished Bucks, we did realise that some of the second team players had been playing really, really well, and obviously we all trained together and they are performing well. So we retrialed during that first sort of week of the new training block. And then Kira organised friendlies, and she sort of did a timetable of where we need to be, so we would progress bit by bit as the weeks went on.
Wow.
And personally for yourself, your final Varsity and if one of the final few games you're playing for Met, was it emotional?
It was a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Usually I don't get emotional, but when I think Kira said in the team talk at the end for the third year girls, this was the last time that we'd be putting the Met dress on, and I think that's when it hit home a bit, and I think it hit home as well when we were running out at the start. I thought that was really nice. Bath had organised the netball teams run out, and when the home crowd just stood up and started cheering, I couldn't feel more emotional, really.
And what's next for you personally?
Next for me personally, well, I'm going to try and become a teacher in a school. I'm going to do my PGCE next year, and up in North Wales, I'm going to just take it from there.
Do you think you're going to keep playing netball at all?
Oh, definitely. Definitely going to keep playing netball. I mean, netball's been a huge part of my life for years now, and I don't think my love for netball will ever die, really.
Well, Gwenna, thank you very much for joining us. Commiserations on the result yesterday, but great season all round, and we really appreciate you coming in to speak to us. Thank you very much, Gwenna. Well done.
Thank you, Gwenna. We appreciate you having us here, coming here to join us today. Next, let's take a look over at the water polo as we look forward to the final matches of the day for Cardiff Met. Let's go to the men's and women's water polo.
So
well in there. Everybody gave it their best shot. Everyone got the ball. Everyone made the right passes. Nobody made silly mistakes, and that's all we wanted, wasn't it? Okay? So, well done, guys.
Welcome back into the studio. We are now joined by Quiva Hennigan. Not only are you the Cardiff Met goalkeeper, you're also our producer for the show today. We're thrilled to have you here.
Yeah! Come on, Quiva.
Multitasking today.
Well, Quiva, we are thrilled to have you with us. Obviously, I know yesterday was a bit of a tough day, a 10-16 loss. You're the goalkeeper for the squad. How did that loss go down for you?
Bit annoyed with myself, because I know there was a lot of them, they're unstoppable. Once you get one-on-one with a keeper, no matter what sport you're in, football, in the pool, it doesn't matter. It's going in if you shoot it to the bottom corners, and that's exactly what they were doing. But I know some of them did come off my hand, so it's really frustrating for a goalie if you get a hand to a ball and it still goes in. It's just because you know you were like that close to getting to it. It's just really annoying.
Now, you're one of the leaders of the team, of course, but especially as a goalkeeper, you're a bit isolated from the rest of the squad. I know that's a different spot to be in. How does that feel for you? Do you feel a little isolated back there as the goalkeeper?
I like it. You've got the best view on the pitch. Like,
that's
you
true.
see
That's a good
everything.
point. Yeah.
You watch people swim, like, you see people cutting in through the back, or someone swimming down the middle who's not being marked, and you see it before the player does. Like, you notice when they're going to make a play, or like a specific move, they're going to do a weave. We can notice it because we're from an angle, we're looking back at a different perspective, whereas the players out in the middle of the game, they don't necessarily see it as quick because it's right beside them and it's very easy to get their blind spots.
Yeah. Now, Dan, I think I heard her say, did you call it a pitch? You called the pool a pitch.
Yeah, I was a bit confused about that. Is it a pool pitch? What
It
would
is
you
a
go with?
pool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just, growing up in football, it's forced a habit to call it a pitch. I grew up from a swimming background, so it seems weird to, a pool is for competing lengths, but it's the same thing. It's all the same in my mind. I just do get slagged a bit for it. But I still call it kickoff.
There you go.
As a goalie, though, what's it like? You know, you say you enjoy watching the game and stuff. What was it like yesterday? Was there pressure, do you think?
Yeah, a bit. It's weird. Like, it's weird having a live crowd there in the pool. So it was having a bit of pressure from that. But it also does feel nice. I like that sort of pressure. As like, you have to be a bit mad to stand in the goal and enjoy getting the football walloped at your face. And enjoy it. You have to have a bit of madness about you. I like the pressure. I don't let it get to me. I thrive on it a bit more. So it's what I'm used to. I've always played football and goals. I don't know anything else. I tried outfield for a while and give me back between the sticks.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, yesterday's game, lots of pressure in that game, of course, but talk to us about the progression of the season so far for the team. How's that been?
It was actually really good because a lot of us only started playing in September, myself as well. And we had 3 girls who did play competitively. We've one playing for Wales and 2 who play for Exeter in the National League, which is like Premier League of water polo.
Sure.
And so the rest of us all just started playing this year. So we all came from swimming backgrounds, which was fair. I came from football. So I had a bit more coordination, but the other girls had never picked up a football in their life. So that was a bit tough for them to get used to it. And tackling, they were all a bit worried about hurting the other team. I was like, if you don't tackle them, they're going to do it to you and probably 10 times worse. So just, you get over the worry bit.
Yeah.
But no, we did progress a lot through the season. We got some big wins on the table. Fortunately, we did have to give up a lot we had to concede a couple of games due to not being able to find referees. So we had to we got deducted points then. But it's a bit of a shame. But we still... Big regret from the season was Swansea. Like, we played Swansea twice and we lost twice, but
really?
we could have won it. Like, we could have won both of those games. We lost by 2 or 3 goals. That was very annoying. But it's just showing that how much progression we have made to come that close to a team who's full of players who have played. They've all of Swansea have been playing since they were kids. So it was nice to see the progression of us, how we've built together as a team. And we've a nice little bunch of 9 of us now.
Good.
Went from 7 to 9.
That's good. Well, everybody, Quiva Hennigan, thank you for joining us here today. We appreciate you taking the time out for this afternoon. Now let's head from the pool pitch, I suppose you call it, over to the football pitch. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the men's football yesterday.
And this Varsity 2022 Cardiff Met versus Bath University football match is underway. Yeah, it's important to being defensively solid, but the first corner of the day is a short corner. Avon tries to close it down, but there's a low-driven cross, and it's an early goal for Bath University. It was a skewered cross across the pitch, through the box. It bobbled its way through. Avon couldn't close down the cross, and it has made its way into the 6-yard box.
Not what Cardiff Met wanted. The Bath fans are going crazy.
That's a deep cross attempt down. It's going towards the left back of Met, but it is hit back in towards the 6-yard box, and it is Coyle, I believe, the centre back of Bath, got the goal. It was hit back in. It was a great cross from O'Loughlin, the goal scorer of the first goal. It was a deep cross just past the 6-yard box, and it is hit back in. He decides to play it off. It comes off the ankles of Mattide there, but there's a chance there for Bath. Richardson has pace to go through. He's split the defence open. Coyle couldn't get it. It was a great effort, but an even better save. It's been 2 set pieces, and it's pretty much a story of long balls and frantic play. As again, Wolfith almost gets in there from a long ball over the top. It's been a theme this game. Bath simply winning on this left-hand side. It's Hughes on the left again. Gets a ball in towards O'Loughlin again. Just as I say, the difficulty that Met have had to deal with on the left-hand side as O'Loughlin disrespects the Archers with an Archers celebration. The number 10 didn't play. Griffiths looking to beat the pressure of Llewellyn. Cuts back, played in towards O'Loughlin again on the left-hand side. Good play for Bath, intricate passing so far to keep Cardiff Met at bay as it goes backwards towards Constantino, who finds O'Loughlin a bit of space, and it's called offside. Crowd there excited, but the referee did put his flag up. Carries it forward. Grajnis with a lot of space on this left-hand side. Nick Price challenges it, does enough, but Grajnis picks up the loose ball into the yard box now. Hegarty, Hughes, Grajnis with the attempt to kill the keeper into the top right-hand corner, but there's a superb save from Luke Wilson. He wants his hat-trick. Hopefully he completes it, in fairness to him, because he's probably the only one on the pitch who wants this game to resume. But unfortunately he won't be able to, as the final fixture of the Varsity 2022 has concluded, and the final score here on University campus of Bath. Bath 3, Cardiff Met 0.
We're back in the studio once again. Charlotte Carver, our football correspondent today. Charlotte, thank you for joining us.
Charlotte! Yeah! Love it.
Now, Charlotte, first of all, tough loss. Take us through your reaction to the game yesterday, 0-3 loss.
Well, it wasn't great for Met. I think Bath, they scored really early on, and I think that set the tone. When that goal went in, I thought, yeah, it's not going to be great. Also, it was the same sort of trend, not many Cardiff Met goals. Again, we could get the ball to the box. Once we got to the box, not much there, a lot of long balls, sort of hopeful, but not anything really paying off. Bath were just the better team. The atmosphere, though, was, for the first half, was great. There were flares. For some reason, there was this horrible grey kind of flare, which was chucked on the track, stained the track.
Nice.
Bath probably aren't happy about that, but I think it was their supporters, to be fair. Yeah, but at the rain, the weather was horrible, torrential rain. You could see the Archers were on the far side from us, and I think you might have been seeing the highlights emptied, which I think might have also been a bit with how the play on the field was as well.
Yeah.
And the game, you mentioned obviously the weather was tough. It was a bit of a scrappy game, and once Bath got those couple of goals, it just seemed to be beyond that, didn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think also, I mean, Jared Richardson, he did get a few chances, but I think their goalkeeper was so in control. He was calm, collected. Yeah, there was no way I think we were gonna get any goals. And
you speak about goalkeepers. Met subbed the keepers at half-time. What was that about?
Yeah, so Luke Wilson came on and he made some amazing saves. I think it was the right call to bring him on. He kept it 3-0. I mean, it could have got a lot worse, but yeah, it's definitely the right call.
That's good to hear. Now, I did only see a men's game on there. Was there not a women's game played yesterday?
No, there was no women's because they have had, I mean, the most amazing season, I think. Like, I'm not sure what else could have really gone better, and they have so much more to come. So obviously in the league coming up, they have Cardiff City on Saturday night at the Cardiff City Stadium, which is obviously amazing. After that, they have one final game, and that's against Swansea, top of the league. If they win both these games, they're going to win the league. So obviously they want to concentrate on that. They've also got the FAW Trophy final in a few weeks' time, again against Cardiff City. They've played Cardiff City 4 times already this season. I mean, they've got to play them another twice, which is a bit insane. And yeah, because they beat them as well in the Gennaro Adrian final for the trophy. So they've already got one. It's like, can they do 3 out of 3? That's obviously where all their concentration is going. So they didn't have a game yesterday, unfortunately.
Well, we are excited for the game this weekend. 5:30 p.m. Saturday night, Cardiff City Stadium. Tickets are £3 online, £5 in person. We're all going to be there at Cardiff City Stadium. Join us there. We're so excited for that game. And I mean, Charlotte, I know the women's team really is the face of Welsh football right now, and we're really hoping they can pull off this title push at the end of the season.
Oh, I think they have such a high chance. They've beaten Cardiff 4 out of 4 times. Surely they can do it another twice.
6 out of 6.
Good omens, hopefully. There, yeah, we'd hope so. Well, Charlotte, I believe you were also catching up on the rest of the sport that was going on around Varsity, yes, around the campus in Bath. What have you got for us?
Yeah, I was. So interestingly, there was 2 new debut sports at Varsity this year. So there was volleyball, which I heard had an amazing crowd atmosphere, people really getting behind. Unfortunately for Cardiff Met, both men's and women's did lose 3-0. There's also weightlifting, which I think is quite interesting. Didn't expect that. It seems like they have 3 goes, you know, to see who can do the best lift, and I don't really know.
The highest weight?
Yeah, technical. Unfortunately, Met also lost that. I think it was 402 to 306. So it was a good game. There was also lacrosse, which wasn't new, but Cardiff Met, I heard apparently one of the girls only learnt the rules 6 weeks ago. So it's quite new. I mean, I think you're sort of expecting the loss, but yeah, 21-6, but it was good that they did get some goals.
Absolutely, yeah. And we do have a couple of tennis players on the undergrad course here as well at the Sport Media, and they were in action as well.
Yeah, they were. Will Dunlop, he won his game. Unfortunately, the rest of the team, one of the girls did win their games, but it was 5-1 loss for both men and women. But we do actually have a clip from the tennis, so let's go see how that went on for them yesterday.
Yeah, so tough day at Bath today. 1 doubles that was quite comfy for Bath, unfortunately, but the second one that was really tight went to 3rd set. A great win for Will Dunlop in the singles, brilliant. And then, yeah, the other 3, a couple of them just fell short. And then, yeah, I just lost in a tight second set. But yeah.
Our day went pretty good. Chloe and Josie won their doubles. It was a really tight match, and everyone played really good. Well, for the boys, Will won, which was pretty good. And yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing day.
Welcome back here into the studio once more, and now this time we've got quite the guest coming up, Dan.
We are joined back by
Archie the Dragon.
Is back.
We told you he'd make another appearance.
How excited. And he's recovered from his race yesterday. I think we are going to take a look at that. But yeah, we thought it'd be, end the show with Archie in studio. And he did go for the mascot race yesterday. He thought he'd take on Bath and really go for it. And I believe we do actually have footage of that. We're going to take a little bit of a look now. But yeah, Archie did a good job for Met yesterday, and we will hopefully have a quick look at that.
Let's take a look at the footage here. Dan, you and I actually got the chance to commentate this. Let's take a look. They're out near the starting line, Dan. We've got Banyamala the Duck and Archie the Dragon on a roll. Here they go. Who do you have, Dan? Who's going to win this one?
Well, the Duck is on the way, and he seems to be... Oh, Archie's lost it.
No!
Smoked it. Archie's going to get beat. Oh, no, look at him. He's coming across the line, and he just seems to be walking across. And the Duck is over the line to take the win. And Archie does come, and it's a bit of a damp affair to end it. Well, what a shame that is. But what a win by the Duck, and Archie... Not looking too happy about the result there. We would speak to you, but you just beyond. He's so upset with the result, Archie. It was a bit of an embarrassment, if I'm honest. A shocker.
Yeah, mate. I'm really disappointed. I got all this fur on me, and I didn't know about my big weight in the middle. It was kind of hard to run really fast. I just kind of fell behind early, and here I am now.
Well, Archie, there is always next year, we'd hope, but we're back at Kincoid, so hopefully we'll get you back on the track next year. Archie, everybody, yeah, let's give it up for him. What a result. Well, I believe that is all we've got time for on today's Up the Archer Varsity special. What another year it has been, and despite the results, Atticus, what a day of sport it was.
You know what? Only 4 wins for Cardiff Met throughout the day. 4 wins, 13 losses, 1 draw overall, but on the bright side, an incredible day, tons of fun. We're thrilled to have people like Archie the Dragon there, and we're just so proud of the 1,200 students and fans and players who were able to go. Just an incredible day all around.
Yeah, and we are going to be played out this afternoon by one of the unsung heroes from Met this year, as he is every year, but Carl Robertson, photographer extraordinaire, has been at pretty much every sport, and we've compiled a few of the best bits from Varsity. So, Atticus, thank you for joining me on the sofa. What a day, what a time, and we'll see you all soon.